Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Stretch It Out podcast.
Whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop. Better mic, hopefully.
It sounds better. Talk again.
Hello, the pony went down the street.
It sounds a little bit better. It's just not as crispy, I think, as we were hoping.
Crispy. Done my writing. Oh, well. Stay tuned.
It's just lacking a little bit of that crispiness, but I think it does sound better. I think we'll have the listeners be the judge of that.
DM me,
Tell
guys.
us the air now.
You like this mic or you like the previous mic? Which one's the better one?
Sounds good. We can hear it. We can hear the words that you're saying, so we're good.
That's all that matters. Just making sure that you understand the message of the podcast.
Yep. And speaking of the message, this is episode number 5.
Número 5.
We've made it to 5 episodes.
Round of applause, everybody. Round of applause.
But let me give the listeners a picture here. Okay, because
paint it for us.
Yeah, because it's just not easy. It's not easy, right? Like there's always something, and
it really is not.
It's really not. I mean, we already know. Look at poor Audrey with the mic, right? She's officially on a quest, y'all. Like this is the beginning of her quest for a mic that's going to be I guess satisfactory to her, to Audrey.
Yeah. And keep in mind, before this, I never even cared about mics. I thought all mics were like, okay, yeah, it's a microphone. That's all it was. But now I'm learning about condensing or a condenser mic. You know, I still don't know what that means, but I know that that's what I need. So when I walk into Best Buy, I say, give me a condenser mic.
Yep. Yeah, we don't know what we're doing is really what it comes down to. And that's why it's hard. But it's not hard. But it is, you know, there's things you got. Yeah, things you got to do, right? And so here we are recording episode 5. I'm so glad we're finally recording. Like, can I just say that it doesn't matter what kind of day I've had. As soon as I've entered podcast land, there's just something about it. It's just magical. So just being here with you and our listeners, it's just us hanging out, and we're going to talk about procrastination. And that's what I love about this space that we're all in. When we all come together in this space, we call it the Stretch It Out podcast. But when we all come together in this space, we can talk about stuff like that and maybe be better for it, right? Maybe we just have a different perspective. But anyway, let me tell you where kind of the story about how we even got to where we're recording episode 5. Audrey had to go get another mic. We'll start with that, right? Which was adventurous in itself.
Just so everybody knows, the return and exchange policy for Best Buy is 14 days. It's not 30 days like I thought. Hey, Purdy.
Yeah.
So just in case you buy something from Best Buy, 14 days. Luckily, I got an amazing team member there because I showed up with a receipt but no box because I had thrown that away. And he honored it and said, you know, I'll let you go ahead and exchange, but you can't return it. And I said, that's fine. I'm going to spend more money on a nicer bike. So I actually told him about the podcast. So hopefully he's listening. Awesome.
That's interesting to say that because I actually shared the podcast with a representative from Verizon Wireless because I was having issues with my signal on my phone today, and it was causing me so much headache, especially because I rely on it for work and, you know, conference calls and stuff. And I ended up calling Verizon, and I'm like, there's got to be something going on with the towers over here or something, and because I've been having issues. And anyway, the dude was really helpful, and we got to chat, and we were chatting about like In and Out and stuff and all kinds of just cool stuff. But he was just a really good person. Like he was a good dude. He provided really good customer service, and I gave him like raving review on the survey that they texted me. But anyway, shout out to you. Matthew is his name. Really cool guy. And I asked him, I was like, you listen to podcasts? And gave him the Stretch It Out podcast. He looked it up right there while we were talking on the phone and told me he was going to check it out. So, yeah, maybe he listens to this. Maybe he doesn't. But anyway, since you brought that up, I thought that was cool. We're sharing. But
What
Just
was his name?
getting
Matthew?
Matthew. Yeah.
Okay. Well, welcome to the podcast, Matthew.
There you go. An official welcome from Audrey, my baby sister.
Yeah.
So
I am curious to see if he's going to listen to this, but
I know that would be curious. Yeah, if you do listen to this, Matthew, DM Audrey. Audrey,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
what is your Insta again? You got to tell everybody. We have to assume we're gonna have one new listener.
Yeah, every week. Okay, so it's Audrey, AUDREY underscore stretch, like the podcast. Stretch it out. That's why we named it this. I don't know if Nick told you that, but I'm sure you can listen to episode 1 and you would understand it.
Yeah. Goodness, since we're doing shout outs to the listeners, can we do a shout out to a really good friend of mine? He was like a childhood best friend of Chris Phillips, but his name's Chris Tracy. Shout out to Chris Tracy because he has sent me some very kind words, encouraging words. And Chris shared with me, that he was listening to the podcast and like genuinely enjoying it. And just want to say thank you. That means so much to me and to Audrey.
That's awesome. I love getting your
Yeah.
text messages of people like, whenever you guys, just so you guys
Showing
know,
us
whenever
love.
you guys reach out to Nick and give us compliments or anything, he always screenshots your entire conversation and sends it to me. So I know some of your guys' secrets from reading above what your
Oh,
original
God.
conversation was. But no, I'm joking, I'm kidding. But I like seeing that. Those always kind of make my day.
Yeah, it's encouraging, it's very encouraging. And it ties into what I'm talking about here. You know how sometimes it's just not convenient to do, to record the podcast. And getting just to this, point this evening, right? It's Monday night. I am having some technical difficulties with my MacBook. It's not powering up or recognizing my interface that I use to, plug my mic and headphones into. And it was giving me issues throughout, over the weekend. So I had gone to Best Buy twice to try to get this connection to work. And it, long story short, I'll save you all the gory details there, but it's just been a bit of a headache and it's still not really working out that great. So I'm having to use my son's Surface to record this. So I had to download a new driver so that I could have my, have my interface connected and all that. While that's going on, poor Courtney's like trying to handle the kids. We've got neighborhood kids over, people are getting hurt on the trampoline. And here I am trying to set up a podcast. You know what I mean? So just, that was the picture I wanted to paint. Like just that there's all this chaos and, Nick's in the room trying to hide from it all and like set up a microphone and, test sound
Nick
check.
is
And
Nick is trying to escape to podcast land. It was
exactly.
difficult.
Yeah. I'm like, just let me go to podcast land for 1 hour, 1 hour in podcast land. That's all I want. And we made it happen. And even when I think Audrey was still wanted to talk a little bit more about what we were going to talk about. And I was like, I'm just going to press record and we're going to do this thing and honestly, I did it because Courtney ran to the store. She took Emma with her. So it's going to be a little quiet in my house for a little bit. But as soon as they get home, because my house is, it's tiny and there's no carpet. I mean, everything echoes, right? So it's going to get loud. So we'll try to knock this out. And here we are. We're talking about how we're going to talk about procrastination. We're 8 minutes and 40 seconds in, and we haven't even talked about procrastination.
Story of our lives.
Fitting. So fitting. Yeah, they're like, are they ever going to talk about procrastination? Yeah. I don't know. Maybe.
With these shout outs. Okay, now we know Nick has a small house that's got tile. Yeah. That's awesome. In the
I just bumped my mic.
In the 14-day return exchange policy at Best Buy. You guys learned a lot within 8 minutes, though.
It's educational. This podcast is educational.
It is. In so many levels.
So.
Okay, so let's talk about procrastination.
Let's talk.
We're not going to procrastinate this anymore. We're going to talk about it.
Yeah, we're actually going to talk about procrastination as promised.
I'm gonna read off the definition. Okay, I kind of like doing this, reading off the definition of what we're going to be speaking about. So
yeah, because then it really clears up the fact that we don't know what we're talking about. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have to Google what we're talking about. So definition via Google is the action of delaying or postponing a task. And I actually, just for my own curiosity, I wanted to look up some synonyms because I was actually telling Nick a story earlier that when I was a kid, he would always use the word mature and immature. And I never actually knew what those words meant. But every time I heard the word mature or immature, I thought it was like a good thing. So sometimes it was good and sometimes it wasn't. But anyways, that's what I want to clear up on the synonym here. Some synonyms are delaying, stalling, hesitation, or my favorite, dilly dallying. I
Dilly
love that
dallying.
one. Stop dilly dallying.
It's doing something other than the task that you know you need to do, right?
Yeah.
And that's usually what it comes down to. I struggle with procrastination. I think I've I've learned to try not, to I guess where I don't struggle with it so much in certain aspects of my life, but I do struggle with it in others. And like I'll give you one example and this is happening right now, and this is true for both my getting my eyes checked and my dentist appointment. I had a dentist appointment scheduled for I don't know, a month ago now probably, and my dentist office is really cool because they send me a text message anytime they have an opening if I've missed an appointment. So I've gotten a lot of text messages from my dentist office over the past month, and
So
they
many
all
texts that
say they all
they're
say
worried about you.
something. Yeah, they say something like, "Hey, we noticed that you're past due," or something like, "You're due for your cleaning, and we just had something open up." Right. So I've had to, um, and I'm responding to these. Right. So I'm like, I'm actually putting a lot of effort into this procrastination. Like, and
You're
my
like
eyes,
keeping
my
it
eyes, I really
going.
have to. Yeah, my eyes are really bad too. Like, I have to get my eyes checked out. I'm having a really hard time seeing at night, especially.
Mm.
Um, and I think it's because I look at a computer screen for a living, and have for the past almost 16 years now. And I think that might have something to do with it. But my my point is, I'm dealing with it now. And it's funny because talking when we were like, okay, we're going to talk about procrastination. Of course, the first thing I start thinking about is, okay, like, how is procrastination showing up in my life right now? Like, where is it at? Because it's funny, if someone didn't say, hey, like, you guys should talk about procrastination, I don't know that would have been at the top of my list of topics. Right. And honestly, I do deal with it. Like, I do struggle with it, but I wouldn't have pulled that out and dusted that off as something I need to look at in my own life if it wasn't for us talking about it on the podcast. So I just thought that was interesting. It kind of
Yeah.
made me look at it and go, holy crap, like, I am totally procrastinating here. You know, like, I don't have anyone to call me out on that, right? It's just my dentist office sending me text messages. Courtney could call me out on it if she wanted to, but she's too sweet. But you get my point. Like, I'm totally procrastinating, and it's funny because the Stretch It Out podcast is like pulling that out of me. So thank you to our listeners. Thanks for suggesting. Thanks for lobbing us a softball here with throwing procrastination out there as a topic to talk about.
I'm learning so much about myself right now in this. I
Yeah,
don't know
like
if
all
you
the stuff I don't want to learn about. I'm just kidding. All the
yeah.
stuff that I'm like, I thought I was better than that. No, I'm totally kidding.
Well, when Nick and I were talking right before recording this, I was like, I don't really struggle with procrastination, really. And then now that you're talking, if you look at the doc, you can see me. I put in there in like capitals letters saying laundry. That's
Oh,
I
you have
think
to
like one of one of
once you
the
press. Oh,
biggest
I do see it. Yep, I see it.
one of the biggest adulting procrastinating tasks I think a lot of people have. I hate doing laundry.
See, that's your problem. Is because you hate doing laundry. So,
Yeah.
so your perspective already
Mhm.
is the laundry, right? And
But
that's me.
I will say I've gotten better at it because it's like I have to trick myself. So I turn it kind of it's not like a game, but I'll watch like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, like when a TV show that's 30 minutes, and my goal is to fold all that laundry within that one episode, and it's helping me get my laundry done. I know it's
That's
dumb, but
crazy. So you're
it
so
helps
you're
me.
actually telling yourself, okay, so you're setting it up like a game, kind of,
Yeah. Like I
and
don't
that
want to
helps you
sit down
not
and watch
procrastinate
TV. I guess, yeah.
with laundry. See,
Yeah,
so
it's been like it for like 3 weeks now.
It's
3
been
weeks
3
I've
weeks
been doing
since
it.
you've started doing it like that? And how
Yeah.
much laundry do you have to do right now? How much do you have that you've been procrastinating?
No, I don't have any. It's all done.
Oh, okay. So then I guess what we've uncovered in our research here is that it's working.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just hate doing it though. But I can't stand I'm like one of those people who can't wear denim like 2 days in a row. I have to wash my denim. Like, I have to wash if I wear it one time, even if it's only for, like, a half a day and I didn't even go out and do anything in the shirt or something, I still gotta wash it. I'm a little bit a germaphobe with that because I'm like, "Oh, your dead skin cells are all over that shirt, and I don't wanna put it back on." So I constantly wash my clothes.
Well, when you put it like that, yeah, it's kind of
Yeah.
weird, you know, like
I
my
know,
dead
sorry,
skin
guys.
cells. Yeah.
Well, why
I'm,
do you think people change, like, bedding and things like that? And don't
yeah, no,
say the
I get
obvious.
that. But jeans, like I don't mind wearing jeans like 2 days in a row. I'll wear the same pair of jeans 2 days in a row, depending on what I'm doing, right? Like if I'm wearing a pair of jeans and I happen to play a game of basketball with Noah in jeans or something, I will not be wearing those jeans the next day. But if I'm just wearing jeans and not do anything crazy in them, like maybe I wore them out to dinner last night, I'll wear them to church Sunday morning, like if I
Oh,
didn't
see,
spill
that's
anything on them.
so
Is that
crazy to
nasty?
me. Well, from I don't know. Maybe we should get
But I'm
okay,
not wearing
to our
jeans
viewers.
that I'm not wearing jeans that are like skin tight either, you know? I don't really have
Yeah.
so I don't know if that makes a difference. But the my yeah, we're not even now we're talking about jeans and
I know,
skin
now we're talking
cells.
about laundry and
But
dead skin cells. We're
but you
procrastinating again.
yeah, here we go. Like we're supposed to talk about procrastination. But you
We're
bring up a good one
dilly-dallying.
because you brought up laundry and it's interesting because I do a lot of laundry. I mean, Courtney and I, do a lot of laundry together, like most any couple that has children. And I kind of try to make it just like something I do, and it's an easy task for me. Like I feel like my job is like kind of stressful, and there's so many unknowns and deadlines, and I just feel like I'm operating in a different world there. And so when I can do something as simple as laundry, I'm like all over it. And I like to just turn on my music or, I'll turn on something on TV that I want to watch and I just get into my zone and I'll just keep going. Like I'll just do laundry, until there's no laundry to do anymore. Right.
Well,
Uh,
you can come over here anytime then, Nick.
Well, but I'm not saying that because I want to say, well, that sucks. You struggle with doing laundry, and I don't. I'm saying that
Yeah.
because I feel like it. I feel like I just have it. Again, my perspective is just a little different on with laundry,
Mhm.
right? So I've actually kind of turned it into something that I can enjoy, so I don't like dread it, right? Um, and but I have not figured out how to put that spin on the dentist or getting my eyes checked. I haven't figured
See?
that out
And I'm
yet.
like complete opposite. I'm in the dentist 2 times a year unless, needed otherwise. Optometrist, I'm always there once a year. Like,
Yeah.
that's not a I guess it's opposite for me. That's something easy. All I have to do is drive there. Most
Yeah.
painful part is paying, that's it.
Right. But I think we did remember in our was it our first episode where we talked about motion creates emotion. I think that that's applicable here, right? Depending on what it is we're talking about, but like let's say the struggle with procrastination isn't like it is for me, right now, like maybe it's something else. If it's something that like I have like you have to get done, right? Those are the
Mhm.
things that I try to just prioritize and I'll do that stuff first, right?
Yeah.
Like I'll do the nasty stuff first I think I honestly, it's weird because I apply that to like even when I'm eating. I know this is super weird, but
I do
like,
the same thing.
okay, yeah. So I do the same thing like in life, right? So like I'll wake up in the morning and just kind of, and I usually kind of think about this at night, for the next day. I think about the next day and I'm like, okay, so what's the, if there's anything in tomorrow that isn't going to taste good, right? For example, like what's the sour thing tomorrow in my day or multiple things? Like those are the things I want to get done quick. I want to get that done and out of the way, right?
Mhm.
Uh, I think that for me, that helps me really kind of check off my list quicker because I'm going to do all the stuff that I really don't want to do first. And what I like about doing that is I'm looking forward to the stuff that I want to do while I'm doing the stuff I don't want to do. Right. So it's kind of cool because as I'm doing whatever my chores are or whatever that thing is that I didn't really want to do, as I'm getting that done, I'm like, cool. As soon as I'm done with this, I get to do what I want to do and I get to do it with like my mind will be clear and free of the things that I haven't done. Right. Perfect example, hanging out like on the weekends. I live in an amazing neighborhood and with amazing friends, family. I mean, just awesome people. And a lot of times, hey, like, we're going to hang out, like we're going to hang out outside. We're just going to, chill, have a few drinks, make some food or whatever. And for me, I really like cherish that time with my friends. Like I want to be fully like involved in that. I want to be present, just like I am with my kids. If I'm going to be doing something with the kids in the family, I want to be present in that moment. And I want to do the same when I'm with hanging out with my friends. And so a lot of times if I know I'm going to be doing that, it gives me a little more hustle to try to get stuff done because I know that I will enjoy hanging out with my friends that much more. And honestly, it's kind of selfless too because I'm doing it because I don't want to have the bad I don't want to say bad, but you know what I mean, the bad version of me showing up for my friends. I feel like they deserve the best version of me, right? And the best version of me is the version that is taking care of all the stuff that he didn't want to do. He took care of all that, so it's not weighing on him anymore. Now this is just me, right? This is just how my brain works. Is yours the same, Audrey, or is it like are there different
N
dynamics there?
No, I mean, I think you and I are pretty similar in that because, like, same thing, if I'm gonna be going out, hanging out with friends or doing something, I don't wanna have to be worrying about, like, a task that I wasn't able to get done. And, like, how you brought it up with the food, that's so funny because
It's what I always think about.
if there is something on my plate that I don't care for, or maybe just isn't as tasty as something else. Like some, I mean, I love my vegetables. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not the biggest fan of zucchini. But so if there's zucchini and then I have steak, I try and eat all the zucchini because I know that's a little bit more healthier there, or for me. But by the time I get to the steak, then I'm like full. but
Right.
but no, I do I think the same way, and I it pulls me into it has me like in my personal life, and it that also overflows into what my professional life is.
Hmm.
And I think it kind of baffles some people because they're always like, "Oh, Audrey," they like I think they assume that I like to do those projects, and it's not that I like to do it, it's just I wanna get that out of the way so I got all my easy stuff for the rest of the week,
Right.
you know?
Right. Yeah. And I
And
kind of feel like I'm in that boat with my
yeah, like, they always
in
think
my
like,
career.
"Oh, Audrey's great at that," like, whether it's personal or, work, whatever it is, or they just think, "Oh, Audrey's good at it, we'll just have her do it," and I'm like, I don't really like to do it, but I mean, I could do it because I wanna
It's
focus more on the
interesting.
fun stuff.
Yeah, and I do that too. Like I do eat the crap sandwich, right?
Yeah, it's a
I eat
great
it
analogy.
quicker than everybody else, and I think that because I eat it quicker than everybody else, everyone just assumes Nick really likes crap sandwiches. And that's not the case. I like being able to do all the stuff that I get to do after the crap sandwich is gone. And
Yeah.
so I'm an objective thinker for the most part, meaning I'll usually, if you present me with something with a problem of some kind, I'm going to approach it as an objective thinker with, the objective being solving the problem, right? Like that's the objective. And what I mean by that is I'm not, feelings and all that stuff doesn't come into play until after I've figured out the plan, right? So what's the objective? If the objective is to, if the crap sandwich, if you will, is laundry, right? I'm just going to stay on your, thing there. If that's what needs to get done, right? Then I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna do whatever I got to do to help out and do my part, right? And sometimes that means maybe I've got a little more hustle, so I'm gonna do a little bit more than somebody else, right? Same thing with work. Again, I'm thinking of the objective, right? I'm not thinking about, like, I'm never thinking about this, right? But it's funny that I'm thinking about it now. I'm never thinking about like, okay, well, I'm going to do this much, and then this, I'm going to leave some for this person. Like I do it, I go all out, right? Like if I'm going to send an email to somebody, I'm thinking about the objective. Well, what's the objective here?
Yeah.
Right. And that often will mean my email is going to include, when I send you something, I'm also going to attempt to answer your next 21 questions that you might have for me in that email. I'm not going to play back and forth, right? I'm getting to the objective. And so I think that for me does help me in a lot of ways, but it's funny that you said what you said, because I feel like I kind of get that too. Like people just assume that like I enjoy it. And I'm like, no, I don't. I enjoy being able to do the stuff that I enjoyed doing without that even being on my mind, because it's done, right? Like think about when we were kids, right? We grew up, we had our chores every day. We had to do our chores. And
I was the biggest procrastinator as a kid. I think I was the worst out of everyone.
That was the first thing I did when I got home. And it was cool because even my friends knew, like, okay, well, Nick's got to do his chores, right? Like I don't know. It was at a young age when I was like, I learned very quickly how much life sucked when I was procrastinating, when I was putting things off. And I think it started with like homework. I want to say like 7th grade. That was when I broke my wrist. And
oh, I remember that.
Yeah, like, oh, it was so bad because I broke my wrist and I put off doing like so much schoolwork because I broke my right wrist, right? And it was the full cast all the way up my arm. And it was like a full cast. Like I couldn't even like touch my fingers. Like there's no way I could write with that hand
You
at
couldn't
all.
put like a pen in, like the pencil, nothing.
There was no way. And I remember I was still supposed to do my homework like just with my left hand, right? Like no one gave me a free pass, but I gave myself that pass. Like, well, this freaking sucks, and I didn't like it. And man, I remember mom and dad were so mad, and dad like laid into me on that. And I was like, well, I never want to go through that again. And so I just applied that through like to like every aspect. And I remember being that way with my chores. And I remember having friends that were like, oh man, I got to go do this. Or, friends that had the same classes as me, always like, oh man, I didn't do that. The homework assignment, I didn't do the book report. Like when we would get stuff in school and they were like, hey, this is going to be due in, a month from now or 2 weeks from now. I don't know if you remember this, but I always got that stuff done super quick.
Oh yeah. You're always on top of it.
But a lot of times I was able to enjoy it because I was doing it quick, right? Like I actually got into a lot of the projects that I did. Like I nerded out on some of this stuff, and
I think you helped me with some of mine.
Well,
because I didn't want to do it.
I was able to enjoy it because I'm doing it the first week it was assigned, right?
Yeah.
And I think that doing a lot of that, I got to see, even at a young age, like how much procrastination was like really hurting my friends. And how much it hurt me sometimes because I was having to help them out on stuff, right? Because it's just, again, back to the same example I gave, where people were like, man, well, you need to help me because you're already done, right? And I kind of do the same thing with work, right? Oh, well, because I'm eating the crap sandwich quicker, and now I got to help somebody else finish their crap sandwich, right? And I think that that's fine. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I just thought, I'm just thinking out loud. But anyways, that kind of, I kind of went down like a little hole there, didn't I?
You're a little Nick rabbit hole.
Yeah, I do that from time to time.
So you learned at a young age of the benefits of not procrastinating. I think
I
I
still
learned
procrastinate though. I mean, let's get that
yeah,
straight. Like, I'm not saying that
but
I
there's
feel bad saying what I was saying because I feel like I'm almost saying like I don't deal
it's
with. I
perfect.
do struggle with it, but it's a good contrast, right? Either way, I think it's.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, like, looking back at like, my childhood with you guys, I mean, I can't speak for Alyssa. I don't think she ever did this. Maybe I just thought of it completely on my own one day because this is how bad of a procrastinator I was. So, one of our chores was to vacuum. Remember that blue carpet we had growing up?
Oh yeah, it was
Oh,
crispy too because you had to take
yeah.
your shoes off.
Yeah.
Everyone had to take their shoes off. Nobody, even dad, like nobody was above that rule in our
Grandma would
house.
smack you with a broom.
Yeah.
But I remember I had to it was, like, my very first chore that was ever delegated to me. And I loved helping mom clean the house, like, when you and Alyssa were in school and I wasn't in school yet, I loved helping. My thing was cleaning windows, I loved cleaning the windows, but I
Right.
hated vacuuming, and it was that metal vacuum cleaner that was so heavy, that thing felt like it was, like, 70 pounds to me. Well, mom gave me that was my one chore once I got into kindergarten and stuff, that my one chore was to vacuum.
You always had like the easiest chores.
And
I mean, I
I
get it.
hated like, I I hated pulling that vacuum cleaner out. So, because it was so heavy to me, that this is how lazy I was, okay? I guess this is more laziness than procrastinating because I put more effort into being lazy than I did by just doing the frickin' chore. I laid down on the carpet and moved my hand against the carpet to make it look like, you know how, like, against the grain kind of a thing? I did that all over the house to make it look like I vacuumed
Oh my freaking gosh.
when
Are
I
you
could have.
kidding me?
Yes. I don't know, we gotta get Alyssa on here. I don't know, Alyssa, if you remember
That
that,
is, oh my gosh. I did
and
not know this. How did I not know this? See, you were always too innocent to me growing up. Now, if Alyssa tried to pull something off like that, I would have busted her for sure. Because me and Alyssa were always at each other's throats.
and I would do it because I remember mom would get home at about 5:30, and dad always got home 4:30 on the dot with his big old red lunch pail thing. And when I ran out to go help dad bring his lunch pail and bags and things in, I hate to tell you, dad, that was me kissing your ass so that you wouldn't yell at me because I didn't do my chores.
But
But
sorry about the
can
dogs
you
in the
believe
background.
but could you believe, like, looking back at it, I mean, I still hate that vacuum cleaner, that thing was so heavy, but I put more work into it for being lazy than rather than just doing the chore, just vacuuming. And we had a small house. We only had the three-bedroom house at that time, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy though that you did that. That's
Yeah.
wow. You went to great lengths. And what's really messed up is I'm thinking about probably there were probably a few times that Alyssa didn't do her chores and you just sat back and watched her get disciplined knowing that you didn't really do yours either. You just did the little arm thing, the hand thing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%. I think what it was, what I was
The
just like,
truth
oh,
comes out.
I was more you gotta be more sneaky. Like, that was my thing.
Jeez, that's rough.
I
See
always
that
tried to
that's
be
so
smart.
funny. Like you're
But I
putting
will
in so
say
much effort to not do what you just need to do. Like just do it. Just
yeah.
get it done.
So, I mean, okay, so now if we look at it in modern day, in today, right? I mean, I'm not going up against the carpet and doing that, but I put so much focus into doing that on the carpet rather than doing the chore, right? So now I feel like as adults sometimes that we can procrastinate by doing so many other smaller tasks that aren't necessarily a priority at the time, doing all those tasks first, and then still procrastinating on the big tasks that you need to get done. Does that make sense?
So you're saying like focus doing the opposite of what I'm saying, focusing on all the other stuff to keep yourself from doing the big thing
Yeah.
that you need to do, the thing you don't want to do. I
Mhm.
I think it's probably best to say it something like this, right? Because the crap sandwich thing seems to work for me. Like it makes sense to me, and it's almost like um, you're eating the turd either way. Okay? You're going to seriously, it's like you're going to eat the turd either way. And if you procrastinate, you're going to eat the turd the long way, right? You're going to chew through that entire turd from, the tip to the end, okay? And I'm using my hands
Sounds
like you guys can see me,
disgusting.
but like it's gross, right? But if you had to eat, it doesn't have to be turd just makes sense, okay? If you don't procrastinate, you get to chew through it the other way, right? From
Yeah.
side to side, bam, and you're through it, you're done. But if you procrastinate, you're taking on the whole turd. Okay. Like I think that's going to make sense to somebody. Right. But that makes sense to me because, and that's kind of that's how I always looked at it. Like, okay, if it's something I don't want to do, I don't want to get this done. Usually those are things that weigh on me and I don't even realize it. Right. Like it's subconsciously weighing on me and it's there in my subconscious eating away at me. Right. It's bothering me, but I'm pretending that it's not bothering me. And then right, that's the work that I'm having to put into procrastination is pretending that it doesn't bother me, pretending that I'm
Mm,
not upset with myself, that I'm letting myself down. We do get upset. I talked about that, and that's going to be an episode we talk about soon. Self-talk, right?
yeah.
Self-talk is real talk. And if you're procrastinating, it tends to bubble into your self-talk and but most of us, right, try to convince ourselves that it doesn't, right? But I'm telling you right now, it does. And if you're being honest with yourself, you're going, yeah, you're right, it does,
Mhm.
because it totally does. It's like, it's so poisonous, procrastination, right?
I feel
And
like
there's
it
so many levels to the procrastination game. There's levels to that game, and you get better at procrastination. Like we get better at those things and we shouldn't be. You shouldn't be getting better at that. You should be getting better at overcoming procrastination, but you don't even realize that over time you actually get better at hiding that stuff. Like I said, I didn't even think about how procrastination is totally screwing up my, like, how far am I going to let this go? Right. It's my teeth, my eyes. Like, at what point do I finally go, okay, Nick, like, you got to go get this done. And I know that's not like maybe the best example, but that's happening right now in my life. Like, that's bad.
I
And
think
it
you're
is bothering me.
like, I wanna share a story, and it's about you. Do you mind if I share it? I don't know, it
Oh,
was
God.
medical.
How revealing is it?
It was, oh my god, it was the night I almost, like, peed my pants with it was you, me, and Courtney in the living room, and you had that thing on your head.
What was it? Oh,
It
it
was
was like a cyst.
yes.
I had a
Talk
cyst on the
about
back of my head.
yeah.
Well, let me break it. Like, let's break it down for the people
I
because I
I'm
I
gonna
get
start laughing.
cysts. Yeah, like I've had one really bad, like on my shin that I had to have surgically removed, and then I had this one on my head. I actually had one in my eyelid. No joke, that I had to get surgically removed. I got that removed like when I still lived in California, and that was like terrible. But anyways, sorry. So I had one on my head. Audrey, sorry about
Yeah.
that. Go ahead.
Okay, so I had flown out to Texas, and, I mean, I don't think I noticed it until you said it because, I mean, obviously, I'm not tall enough, I can't see, like, the upper part of your head,
You didn't
but
notice it because I wouldn't let you look at me. You were like, "Why are you
you
always
had
looking
a
at me
hat
straight
on.
on, Nick?" And I was like, "I'm just always gonna look at you straight on. You're never gonna look behind. You're never gonna see the back of my head." Like even when I walked by you, I was like strafing by you, where like you could never
Typical.
see, and you just never picked up on it because I was so good at it.
Well, and you had a hat on, and then finally, you said you were like, "Yeah, I got this thing on my head," and, I mean, that kinda scared me a little bit because, our history with our family and stuff, so,
Oh yeah, you were
like,
probably
"Yeah."
really like, "You're gonna die." Yeah,
Yeah, oh, instantly, I was like, "That's it, Nick's dead, let's go ahead and get the funeral going, guys,"
yeah.
like, I'm freaking out, and Nick's over here like, "No, it's fine, I don't gotta go to the doctors," and you kept putting it off, and I swear, I think that if Courtney and I did not mess with that thing that night and irritate it, I don't think you would've gone to the doctor the next day.
I don't
But
think I would have either. And then I had to
to
lie to
tell
the doctor because he's like, "Looks like you guys were messing around with it," and I was like, "Nope."
so let me tell the story of this was, so Nick had this thing, it was what, like the size of a quarter? What would
It
you
was
say? It was
big.
like the size of a gumdrop, those big 25-cent gum pieces that are
Yeah,
always
bulging
stale
out
that
of the
are
top of my head.
yes. And so Courtney was like, "Hey, let's pop it, let's get it out, all the stuff."
Bad
And
idea, by the way, for the
yeah.
listeners, bad idea. Don't ever no, seriously, like, do not do that. Like, it could have been so bad because I didn't even realize and I didn't even
Poking
see
your
it.
head.
Yeah, and I didn't even see it, right? So I'm thinking like, yeah, like, let's just pop this thing. It wasn't like a poppable thing because it was, like, surgically, had they had to, like, dig up in there and, like, get this thing out. But anyway, keep going.
So, and keep in mind the tools that we had. I can't remember if Courtney had gloves on. I was trying to record it, um, but I was like, no, I think I wasn't laughing. I was like getting sick from it because I was so scared of something like exploding on Courtney's
Oh
face.
god, I know, like, so bad right now. I hope no one's, like, listening to this during dinner.
So who would listen to our podcast during
Yeah,
dinner?
they're cutting into, like, an over medium egg yolk right now, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
A
I'm just gonna
poached
eat the hash
egg.
browns." Yeah. They're like, "I'm just gonna eat the hash browns. It's all good." Last time I listened
So
to the Stretch It Out podcast, eating breakfast.
so keep in mind, guys, I think Courtney had some gloves on. I can't remember. I'm trying to record it. The kids are sleeping too, by the way, so we got to keep it down. And Courtney, the only thing she has to poke to take on this beast
I remember. Oh.
was a sewing needle.
And
I want,
it didn't do it. It didn't do the job.
I think she poked it maybe like 4 or 5 times, and then I actually started to like, what's the word? Like what's
So
the word I'm looking for?
gross.
Like I wanted to throw up. It was
Yeah,
it was
you were dry
grossing me
heaving.
out. Yeah, there we go, dry heat. Because the only vision I saw in my head was this thing popping on Courtney's face because she was so
Oh
close to
god.
it. Because
Oh,
it was nighttime and the lights aren't that great in the living room during the night. So,
yeah. Oh,
and
that
I
would've
think
been so bad.
I peed my pants a little bit. But anyway, so going back to procrastination, I think if we didn't do that, because we ended up irritating that on Nick's head, where it hurt so bad the next day, where Nick was like, "No, I need to go to the doctors because now it's hurting." Think that if we didn't irritate it and poke the bear, literally,
Yeah.
he would have never gone. Like he would have waited till it got even worse.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I would have, and
Yeah.
that just goes seriously again because, and that's I think what we're getting to. And you correct me if you think I'm wrong here, Audrey, but it's almost like that to me. The takeaway that I just got from you telling that story is if I can hide my procrastination, that's probably where I'm going to procrastinate the most. Okay, so uh, if I'm able to hide the fact that I'm doing it at all from the people in my life, I'm probably going to I'm more prone to go, procrastinating there, right? And that's
Yeah.
perfect example of that. Like if I could hide it and it's not bothering me, well, then I'm just gonna hide it. But it was bothering me, right? I knew it was there, and like maybe I'd forget about it, and then I'd go to scratch my head and go, "Holy crap! There's a mountaintop up there." But if
And it grew 2 sizes.
But again, like think about it. So no one's like I mentioned earlier, no one's on me to go to the doctor, go get my eyes checked out, go get my dentist appointment taken. Like I need to do these things, right?
Yeah.
I have to get that done. But again, if I can, it's weird, like how getting back to the self-talk thing. I can't wait to have that episode because I think I'm going to have so much, just hopefully have some good content for that one. But getting back to the self-talk, I mean, if you really start thinking about your self-talk as real talk, and you really start thinking about yourself as a real, person worth loving, and I'm talking about you, like loving yourself, then I think procrastination really, really looks it looks like the enemy. Okay. Procrastination looks like the enemy it should be. The more you're able to look at yourself and love yourself, the more you're able to look at yourself and go like, I'm not worth all the work that procrastination creates. Okay. Like
Yeah.
the work of trying to hide it, for example, right? Like you said, I had a hat on. The work of trying to every time the self-talk conversation comes up, hey Nick, you got to do that. There's work involved in that conversation because I now have to convince myself, right, that I don't have to do it. Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I know I should, but I'm not going to do that. And that, I mean, isn't that procrastination right there? Like isn't that what procrastination is? I mean, you have to constantly, it's like it's always there. And so you're constantly having to give some type of attention and energy to procrastination in order to keep it alive. And the only way to starve procrastination is to not do it, right? To just go, well, I'm just going to do it. And when you starve procrastination entirely, the monster just doesn't exist anymore. It can't live, right? It's like you have to feed it. It's like procrastination is powered by you in some fashion.
I don't think a lot of people realize, like, how much energy procrastination actually takes up until you look at it like this,
And it's
like
like
how you just said.
yeah, and it's so much more than that too, because it's not just taking energy, it costs you joy. That's the messed up part. If you really look at it, procrastination costs you joy. Procrastination comes at the expense of your own joy, being happy. That's what makes us happy as human beings is, what solving problems, right? That's what we all do. If you think about it, you in any way, take anybody and what we do as humans, like what brings us joy is solving problems, right? Hard work, but solving problems. And when we go, well, I'm not going to do that. I know I need to do that, but I'm not going to do it. That problem still exists, right?
Yeah, snatch it away.
And what happens to every small problem when it's not handled when it's a small problem?
Oh,
It grows.
yeah.
They grow. It's inevitable. They're going to grow. Every big major problem is the result of us not solving a small problem somewhere down, somewhere else before that event. And that's procrastination. That is
Literally twofold.
how do I say that? Like, yeah, so like procrastination is like the what do we call it? Like the incubator for what I'm talking about, for that
For problems.
for the problem to just grow, right? And get bigger. And when we procrastinate, that's what's happening. And then when we don't procrastinate, when we go, you know what? I'm just not going to procrastinate. It's crazy how short-lived the crap sandwich is. I mean, it's like that. And then the best part is
Like a small
the
crap sandwich.
the joy though, the joy that you get from being done with that. It's not about it's not about when it comes to procrastination, usually it's not about anybody else. You're not helping anybody else. Usually it's you. It's stuff that is really only impacting you, right? Again, because it's usually the stuff that you can hide, right? That you can really perfect your procrastination skills on. And think about though what it does for you. Every time you don't procrastinate on something, that's a victory for you. And now instead of walking around, nibbling on this crap sandwich, right? You're walking around free of that and collecting victories. You're just collecting wins, right? Like every time I do stuff, chore related, I mean, just going to work. When we go to work, we feel good about that. That's why we like Fridays so much. Fridays are cool because it marks the end of the work week, right? That's why we get excited about Friday. We're like, oh yeah, it's Friday. It's awesome. Fridays aren't that cool if you didn't do any work, right? The same thing, I think, when we talk about procrastination, when we're not getting stuff done that we don't need to get done, it's eating away at us. When we get it done, we knock it out. We get to celebrate that win.
Yeah.
And maybe there's not enough on that, Sorry, go ahead.
I think that's like the best feeling is when you've taken that, when it's stemmed from that small problem, we'll say, or small task, and you prevented it from becoming that bigger issue later on down the road. Because I'll tell you what, like, looking at it work wise or something, I love getting projects done. There's like some projects that I always have like monthly. I love getting that thing done like the month prior. so that when my boss says like, "Hey, Audrey, you're gonna work on this week," and I'm gonna say, "Oh, it's actually already done. Who needs help with something else?"
Mhm.
Like, I
Yeah,
love that
that's
feeling,
way cool.
knowing that my projects are done and now I can actually go and help somebody else. I love the
Yeah, that's
feeling
awesome.
that you get from not procrastinating. It's so stress relieving,
It is. It is, to just get it
and it's
done.
like, yeah, and it honestly, it freezes up in your personal life, like, it freezes up so much time for you when you just knock it out and get the things done that you do procrastinate on. Like, for me, actually, I now thinking about it, now that we're talking about it, I used to procrastinate on my making my bed. But now I read a book and it was in another article, so then I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna try it." But it's if you make your bed every single morning, if that's your first task that you need to accomplish for the day, and you make your bed, you are more likely to overcome other tasks and challenges, throughout the day, um, more or more quickly and more efficiently. So I've started doing that, where you always make your bed in the morning.
I like
As
that,
an
and
adult, I'm finally making my bed.
that's really cool, actually. I don't make my bed consistently. Courtney does a really good job of that. Um, I
Well, there you
do.
go. Courtney's great at it, so she
Yeah,
tackles the
she's.
first challenge of the day.
Oh, but Courtney is like, I'm telling you, Courtney is like such
She's
an
superwoman. She's
inspiration
super
to me.
mom.
She is a superhero. Yeah, she is straight up like, and it's hard because when I say stuff like that, it's like it's like it's expected, right? So it's almost like it takes away a little bit of what I'm really trying to convey when I say that, because I mean that with every fiber of my being when I say that Courtney is grinding like all the
Yes,
time. Like she is the epitome of work ethic and just drive and motivation. That girl just kills it. And
I I'm gonna go off on a tangent. This is all about you, Courtney. I am I am completely on board with that of what you said because Courtney and I don't want this to come off weird, but Courtney reminds me so much of mom
oh,
because
she
mom had
big time does.
that
Big
same
time does.
drive, and she the way that I know you always sit there and say like you spoil the kids too much, but mom did the same thing with you.
Oh
But
my god. Yeah, she did. Big
she
time.
spoiled, but she disciplined. And
Yeah.
so when I see Courtney, I see her, she's like always the first one up in the morning. Anytime I've gone over and stayed with you guys, always the first one up in the morning, constantly cleaning. She's going to work while taking care of the kids. Like, come on, think about it. She took Emma out to the grocery store right now just so that you and I can do this podcast. So really, she's stuck with, you know, one of the kids who was cranky. So she's dealing with that. I mean, kids are tough. So kudos to you guys. That's why I don't have any yet. Um, but I look at her and I put her up on a pedestal where that's something where it's like, dang, when I'm a mom, like I want to be like Courtney
Yeah.
because
Amen to that.
I
Amen
don't
to that.
think I don't think I have ever seen Courtney quit. And any time that I've seen her where she says, "That's it, I'm done," she's never done. She keeps going.
Yeah, because she's never done. I
Yeah,
know,
she's
it's
never
so
done. She's
crazy.
like
Like
when
she's yeah.
she'll sit there and say like, "I'm done with this conversation. We're not having it," but she still tackles it like
Yeah.
she takes on anything. And I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
I'm sure she has a breaking point, but I have yet to see that.
She really doesn't. I've been married to her for holy crap. This Friday. Oh my goodness.
Oh my god, is it your anniversary
What's
this
the
Friday?
date? What's the
Oh
date
god.
right now? Hold
Who's
on, let
got
me
a
pull up the
calendar?
calendar.
Anybody
I'm
got a
pulling it up right
calendar
now.
up? I think it's the 29th.
No, it's the
28th.
28th. Okay, so this Friday, my wife and I have been married for 16 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and so yeah, we've got some friends that are going to help us out, and we're going to go on a date. I don't think we're going to go on Friday. I think we're going on Saturday. I don't know. But again, Courtney's handling all of it, right? Because she's
Yeah,
grinding all the time, and
constantly.
I'm glad you said that because she is such an inspiration to me on so many levels. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. And you nailed it. I mean, she is she is so much like mom. And
Yeah.
and I remember telling dad that when he was like, "Are you sure you want to get married?" And I'm like, "I'm basically, yeah, I'm marrying the person that's reminds me of mom the most. Like she's perfect in every way." And she's she's constantly going and still finds time. This is what blows my mind, to watch all these freaking TV shows. She's like a TV show junkie, and she and she watches stuff to me that I'm just like, why are you watching this again? Because this, I feel like she watches stuff that, like, to me, I'm like, this is like this is killing brain cells at a rapid rate. And
Junk
I can't
TV.
even name some of the stuff she watches because I'm just like, I can't even watch this with you. It's just so bad, but she loves it. She enjoys it. But my point is, she gets everything done and still carves time out for herself. And she tells me that. She's like, this is my time. This is my time. I'm going to watch, my shows. And if I'm telling her, hey, I'm going to go hang out with the guys, or I'm going to go, do whatever, right? Courtney doesn't look at it as, oh, well, that sucks. I don't want you to go out. Like, I always kind of give her a hard time just because she's almost just like too good to me. So I almost say like, how do I say this? Like, if I'm talking about her, I'll say, if I'm talking as her, right? Like, I make her sound really bad, like evil, but she's not at all like that. You know what I mean? It's almost
She's
like, yeah,
not.
it's really stupid that I do that. Like, yeah, I'm like, well, I don't know if Courtney's going to let me, but then it's like, I never have to ask her to do anything. Like, I just say, I'm going to do this. But my point is, when I say, like, hey, I'm going to go hang out with the guys, she doesn't look at it like, well, I want you here with me because I got the kids or whatever. She's like, okay, go do your thing. And she's usually finding a way to, carve out her time, at that time or something,
Like, I've seen her. She's very solution based. Where if there is something with a conflict of like, I can't making up a situation in my head that if you had plans with the guys, but she was gonna take Emma to practice and you were supposed to take Noah or something. Instead of saying like, "Well, no, you can't do that," she would just be like, "Okay, well, hold on, like, let me think this through. Okay, I can drop
yes,
Emma off first, and then I'll take Noah, and then I'll when Noah's done, we can go back and pick Emma up." Or it's like, "Let me call the neighbor and see if they can bring Emma home." Like she finds out a way
yes, she
to
does.
overcome it.
Always, always. She's a winner. She's a winner.
I I'm gonna say I don't think Courtney procrastinates.
I
What does she
don't
procrastinate on?
think she does either. She really doesn't. And like,
I think maybe if she
I
does,
can't
it's for
keep up with
show.
this woman.
Guys,
Go
I
ahead.
don't have children, okay? I barely got a boyfriend. And I look at Courtney and I'm like, she's still, for some reason, we still live in the same 24-hour time zone.
Sorry, it's an Amber
Oh,
Alert.
oh no.
I know, I
Hope
hate
they're
those.
okay. I hope
I
they find
always,
them.
like, my heart always just
Yeah,
sinks, like, just immediately for the parents. It's heartbreaking.
all the time. I hate getting those. Um, but Courtney lives in the same time frame as everybody else in the world. But when I look at her and she's like running circles around everybody, that I'm like, I don't even have kids and she's running circles around me. So I'm like, how come I don't have as much time as she does? Like, that's what I feel like.
Right.
But then I
I
have to
still
look
don't
back at
have
it
it
and
figured out.
I think I'm just lazy sometimes.
No. Yeah. No, that's not the case. Courtney is just next level. Like, cause I've had to come to, to grips with that, like, early on in our relationship, that, like, okay, like, I'm for sure, I cannot outwork this woman. Right. Like, I just can't do it. And here's the thing. She, she way outworks me. Right. I mean, she works a normal job. Then she takes care of pretty much all the kid stuff, especially if I'm out of town, right? She's doing it all. And she's on top of that, she's helping me out with stuff, helping me take care of things, outside of, just work. She's working out, exercising. Um, it's crazy. Like, it mind boggling. But I mean, just talking about it is really
Yeah.
like when I'm like, dang, like, oh my gosh, it really is that crazy. But she's she can make some people feel kind of like, make you feel lazy. You know what I mean? That's not her intentions, but I've felt that way around her sometimes, where I'm just like, I'm a total piece of crap. Like, I'm not
That's
like, I'm useless. Like, what am
when
I
when
doing?
I
Right.
when I
And she does hair too, right? She does
yeah,
people's
she does it
hair.
on the weekends.
She's doing hair all the time. Like and she puts it in the calendar. I'm like, dang, like you're doing hair and like, and she's doing all that, to help the family, right? She's all about, grinding to do what she's got to do to help the family. And that's how she is, even just with the house. Like she's just constantly doing something, Um,
Yeah. It's where it's
it's
like
just crazy.
she's got that, like, 100% mom mentality because look at mom, mom worked at
That's how mom
what?
was. She had 3 jobs. Mom
3
had
jobs.
3 jobs, especially like every time during the holidays. Remember, she was doing
Oh,
C's
C's.
candies. She was
Yep.
doing the
Oh,
bank,
I loved it.
the mortgage loan bank or whatever place, and then
Mhm.
I don't even remember what was the third place that she was working at when she had her 3 jobs. I don't remember.
It was, like, another, like, seasonal job that she did. It was, like, a part-time one.
Okay,
I
but
can't remember. I remember
she
C's
was
though because I
always
got to go
working.
to work with her.
She was always working.
And she
Always got it.
worked she worked at C's with a purpose too, and that's what
Oh,
I
she
love. So,
loved it.
like,
She
I mean,
loved
she
it.
loved it, but she also worked there because she wanted the discount so that during Christmas time, everybody got C's candy, she had a discount, so it wasn't like she was spending more
Yeah.
money
Oh, yeah,
on
she planned it
Christmas
all
gifts.
out.
Yeah,
She had it
but it
all
was
planned.
still a great gift, yeah,
She had
and
it
I
all
feel
planned
like
out.
Courtney has those exact same characteristics, and it's definitely like I said, and I'm sure Courtney's gonna listen to this, secret word. Secret word supermom, superwoman, I should say. Uh,
Yeah.
when I like I said, Courtney inspires me so that when I have, children in the future, she's what I wanna be now. I
Dang,
want
that's high
to
praise.
yeah, I wanna
High
embody
praise.
her, so
Yeah, she's a gangster. She's a true gangster. Uh, but
but going back to procrastination, so that's the one person on earth who doesn't procrastinate. Great job, Courtney. Way to show us that.
but
Um,
I think I think if she was here, she would be able to tell you where she does procrastinate. I think it does touch every single one of us, and I think on
yeah,
really, I want to make sure if nothing else comes of this podcast, because I know we're at, just over the hour mark already, but if nothing else comes of it, I at least want people that are struggling with procrastination to know that everybody struggles with it. Um,
yeah,
I think that here's the good news, right? Well, let me start. The bad news I already shared, but I'm going to share it again because I'm going to give some comparison. The bad news with the bad part about procrastination is that the more you do it, the more you procrastinate, the better you get at it. The good news, when you overcome procrastination, or when you don't allow procrastination to become an option for you, uh, you get better at that too. And I say that because it does get easier. And I think sometimes when we're approached, I mean, when we're looking at procrastination for the first time, and maybe it's after you listen to this episode and you're like, you know what, okay, there's this thing that I am not going to procrastinate on, and you get to that fork in the road and you go, okay, I'm gonna do it, right? I think sometimes the pain in that moment, and again, taking that that crap sandwich, I'm really trying to work on my cursing. Taking that crap sandwich, and you're just like, okay, I'm just gonna do it, right? I'm gonna get it done. Sometimes it's painful, right? Especially if it's the first time you're kind of like really trying to overcome procrastination. We tend to tell ourselves in that moment, like, this is how it's going to be all the time, right? And why are we doing that? Well, we're putting ourselves in the victim mentality now. Now we're going to that place where it's like, this is how it's always going to be. I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't keep up with this. Don't let that, don't let that self-talk in. Like, it doesn't have any place. You have to be able to, in that moment, go, it actually, yeah, it is kind of hard, but I'm going to get better at it. And it's actually going to get easier. And I say that because we just got done talking about Courtney and like how she's just always grinding. And I think she is an example of what it's like to be on the other side of um, always uh, beating procrastination. When the fight shows up, she's gotten really good at that. And it's just not even there. Like, there is no, I can't even get her, like, when we're on vacation, I'm like, can we just, like, let's sleep in one day, like, let's sleep in till like 8 o'clock, or you're like, just lay in bed. She can't do it. Like, she's not capable of it, right?
Because
So
she's
think about
trained
that.
herself.
Well, that's what I'm saying is she's gotten so good at it that she can't even be bad at it. All right. And I'm saying that because that's all of us are capable of doing that. Like, and it starts with that that one thing. Okay. Well, I'm not going to procrastinate on this anymore. Maybe this is something I've perfected the art of procrastinating on. I've perfected the art of hiding it. I've perfected how I talk to myself about it and how I talk myself out of it. Change that record entirely and watch what happens. All that good stuff that Audrey shared on this episode about just being clear minded and having that off of you, and her being able to help other people. I mean, that's taken, to me, helping another human being, that is the ultimate high in life. And I think if you're able to do that, I mean, that's cool, right? Like, how awesome is that? Like, I get to help somebody else all because I've overcome procrastination in this one area of my life. And then you'll feel motivated and encouraged to do it in another area of your life, right? I don't think that you wake up tomorrow and you go, okay, I'm no longer going to procrastinate. I think procrastination is going to show up. It's always going to be there, but it's the decisions that you make to help you overcome it. And I want to go back to what I shared about the laundry thing, right? Like you said, you hate doing laundry, and I think perspective too is just a great way to help you overcome procrastination in whatever area of your life it's in. And maybe it's taking that thing that you're like, man, this is one thing that I struggle with doing. Why do I struggle with doing it? Like, really dissect it, right? A lot of times we don't even go that far because we don't hold ourselves with enough worth. Like, we don't consider ourselves worthy of that, right? We don't it's crazy, Audrey. Why do we consider ourselves unworthy of the work to be successful, and then consider ourselves deserving of or worthy of all the work that goes into keeping us down, in this case keeping procrastination alive? Isn't that weird?
Oh, of course it is. It's
I To me, it's mind blowing that we do that. I
baffling.
do that. I do that to myself, and like, why do I do that? But I think taking the time to go, why am I procrastinating with this? Like, do that for yourself. Like, you're worth that. You're worth that time, and get yourself a victory there. Like,
Yeah.
procrastination, like, that'll be my challenge to our listeners this week. Procrastination is stepping in the ring, right? Is procrastination coming for you, or are you coming for it? And I think you need to go in knowing, like, you are going to be the victor here. You're not going to be the victim. You're going to win, and go do it. Go figure it out with one thing. When procrastination shows up, make the decision to go, you know what? I'm going to eat the crap sandwich as quick as I can. So then I can eat all the good stuff after, right? I'm going to do what I got to do. And then if you do that, if you're able to overcome that, shoot us a message, or DM Audrey, or DM me, or, Facebook or something. Reach out to us, hit us on the Stretched Out Podcast Facebook page, and just say, hey, this is what I did, and let us know how it went. Right. I think
Yeah. I would
we would
love to
love
hear
to be able
back.
to celebrate those wins. Yeah, we do. We do want to hear from you guys. We really do. That's why, like Audrey mentioned, I'm sharing when I get any type of feedback at all about what we're doing. I'm sharing it with Audrey, and I'm sharing it with her with so much excitement, because we're doing something that we truly love and enjoy. And to have somebody or anybody come back and say, hey, that's helping me, again, ultimate high. I mean, it's just such a great feeling. And it just keeps our batteries charged, if you will, and keeps us motivated to keep doing this thing when things are tough, when the laptop's not working, when the mic isn't good enough, or right. It just keeps us focused on getting back to doing what we're doing right now, because that's what we all need. Every one of us needs that. Every human being needs some encouragement. They need to be told that they're great, and and that's what we want to help provide
It
for
kind of
you all.
it refuels us,
It really
just to
does.
know that hey, we made someone smile for one day. That's all that matters to me. As long as
Yeah.
I'm not saying every podcast, necessarily applies to every single person, but or not podcast episode, but just hearing the feedback of like, hey, you know what? Like when we had Keenan on and Keenan said is like, you know what, you that episode really got to me. That meant a lot to me because I'm like, oh wow, like an actual person listened to the podcast and they understood the message and they absorbed as much as they could and use that to alter their week or their day, you know?
For the better, for the good. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
what
we
I
want
like
to
to
hear
hear.
from you. Yep, we want to hear from you. So please, give us some feedback. Let us know if there's other things you want us to talk about. Um, let us know if there's, like we mentioned earlier, if you're going through something right now and maybe you just want to get some perspective on it. Share with us your story. Like share with us what you're going through, or maybe it's something you went through that you've never really had to deal with, and maybe you're just interested in what our perspective is on that. We'd love to provide that for you. And even if it's not by way of an episode on the podcast, reach out to us. I mean, again, I always want to offer that up to our listeners. We can have a conversation. I'm a good listener. Maybe it's not us chatting about it on the Stretched Out podcast. Maybe it's us chatting about it in a message or something on Facebook and just kind of talking through some things.
Yeah.
We
And
can be that for you.
if you ever want to be anonymous, just let us know, Not everybody on the, all the other listeners need to know everybody's business.
Yeah. I don't want you guys to think like, well, if I say anything to Nick, he's going to say, shout out my name.
Yeah. We don't got to do that.
But I do like to recognize
Yes.
acts of kindness, small and big. And I don't think there's enough of that going on in the world. I don't think there ever will be. So that's why I do what I do. That's why I love, just telling people how happy you make my heart when you say things that are kind, that are encouraging.
Yeah.
It really does mean a lot. I mean, it's super empowering, to get feedback like that. It really does help. So that's why I shout out like I do, because I got so much love for you guys
We
and
want to
gals.
impact the people in our world that we are able to reach.
That's right. So, yeah, so I think we can wrap it up, Audrey. We're about a little bit over an hour and 12 minutes. So was there anything else you wanted to add to our episode 5, procrastination?
Just that, hey, Dad, I'm sorry I didn't vacuum those floors back when we were kids. The
Yep,
carpet was
sounded
probably
real
dirty.
sincere. Sounded real sincere, Dad.
Sorry about it.
Yeah, I think we all know who's buying dinner next time we're all going out. I'm just kidding.
It's me paying back all that allowance money I got.
It's all good. It's all good. Well, hey, I don't really have anything else, as it relates to procrastination. Again, just remember that we all struggle with it. And, sometimes we just need some corrective perspective to help us overcome it, or to help us just to get better at it, right? Maybe your goal right now isn't just like, I got to overcome procrastination in this one area of my life. Like, why don't you maybe it needs to be bite size for you, and you need to say, I just want to get better at it, right? Like, let's go there. But please share with us any feedback, especially if if you do decide to do some things different over this next week as it relates to procrastination. Share those stories with us. We want to celebrate those wins with you in a big way. And maybe we'll do, Audrey will, give out some type of prize or something, right? Audrey, you're good for that, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I don't know, $20-$30 gift card or something for,
Chris,
people
yours
that
is still
send
on the
us.
way.
Yeah, Chris has not been paid yet, so yeah, that's an issue.
It's gotta
Talk
go through
about
taxes,
procrastination.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
there you go. That's my
there's
procrastination
procrastination.
right
There it is.
there. Okay, I'm gonna take care of it tomorrow, Chris. I'm gonna take a photo of me at FedEx and I'm gonna DM you just to show you that it's on the way.
Oh gosh, the level of accountability you just put on yourself, Audrey.
I know, God.
You just
My heart just sank.
you just got at least 1 or 2 people in the accountability ring on you there. So, anyways,
Can't mess this up.
we got to end this thing. I got my wife and kids here waiting for me to shut this down so I can go be a husband and a father. Even though Courtney's probably got everything done for me, because that's usually how she rolls. But thank you guys and gals. Thanks to everyone for listening. Dad, thank you so much for finally listening to our podcast. Hope you continue to listen. We really appreciate your feedback. Honestly, like Dad's feedback is probably like one of the, like that's the feedback I wanted the most from the first episode. Like, I'm like, I can't wait for Dad to listen, because every son looks up to their dad like they're their superhero. Every son wants to be like their dad, right? I'm no different. And so, of course, I wanted Dad to listen to it and be like, yay or nay, right? So, also, since I'm trying to end this thing, but I'm on the soapbox. Something really cool, right? I mentioned in the last episode that I was like really like gonna go after this, music thing, right? Like not go after the dream of being a rock star, okay? But I'm gonna go after putting my music out there, right? Like I listened to the last episode if you didn't listen to it, but really put my music out there, and it's really cool because this song that I'm working on now is actually some of the lyrics are from Dad. So can't wait to finish this song. And I say that because I want to tell Dad publicly I am working on it, so he doesn't think that the song that we're working on lands in procrastination land, because it's not. It's already getting worked on. So
can I take a guess at what the lyric is?
You can.
Is it take a tater and wait?
Oh, that was a really good guess. Like if we were, sports betting, that would have been your best bet for sure. But that's not it. However, It's funny. It's funny you say that, because we are going to have Dad on the podcast eventually. We're going to probably have to go to his house to do it, because trying to get him to connect with us remotely would be a freaking nightmare. But
we are going to
have Dad.
You can go.
We are. Oh yeah, funny. We are going to have Dad on the podcast, and he did say that he might give us a live recording of Take a Tater and Wait. So folks,
his one and only.
It might get better. You might get to hear my dad perform the song that he played, the only song that he played for us on the guitar growing up, Take a Tater and Wait. So
that song.
Yeah, just when you thought it couldn't get any better. But anyways, thanks again for stretching it out with us. By the way, I stole that from Chris Tracy. I thought that was so cool, because he sent the message to Chris and he said, hey, I stretched it out to episode 3 and 4 today or something, right? And I was like, that is cool. I'm stealing that. So officially stolen and now being used. Yeah. So thank you, Chris Tracy, for that, 'cause that's freaking awesome. So thanks for stretching it out with us today. What are we going to talk about in the next episode? Don't even know. You're just going to have to check it out. Keep tabs on the Facebook page. Yeah. And yeah. Well, thanks everyone again for listening. We love y'all. Take care. We'll catch y'all next time.
Love you guys. Everyone stay safe.
Peace.
Toodles.